Hello, welcome back to Raised by Toddlers. I hope you're doing good. So today I just wanted to address the news here in the UK that from March 21st, 2022, it'll be illegal for parents in Wales to smack their children. This follows there's already been one introduced in Scotland in 2020. And while this is certainly a positive thing, it's extremely naive for the powers that be to think that this will do anything to prevent children from being harmed by their parents, as I'm sure you can agree. Um, as the children of Narcs and the designated family scapegoats, we're all too aware of the devastating impact of a sustained campaign of psychological and emotional abuse from the very people who are supposed to love us unconditionally. And Narcs are sneaky creatures, and the maintenance of this fake facade that they have of being this infallible and the pinnacle of perfection, and their obsession with keeping up appearances and what will the neighbours think, it forces them to abuse us in covert, secret ways. And they condition us throughout our lives through manipulation and brainwashing and instilling into us this false narrative that we're terrible, that we're worthless, and that we're fundamentally flawed and need to be fixed. And they can completely devastate us through things like the silent treatment, where they don't even have to lift a finger to drive us into complete emotional collapse. Um, as I previously mentioned, I physically left home at 17, but the worst of my family's abuse and the most destruction came through texts and emails that they sent me in my late 30s and early 40s. That's where the real damage was done. Didn't lift a finger, there was nothing physical, not even face to face, purely the written word. And it was a dose of the silent treatment from my mum and delivered long distance that drove me to rock bottom just a year ago. That was the breaking point. That was my nah, I'm done. This ends now. And as the children are narcissists, we're driven to sort of self administer physical abuse through maladaptive coping mechanisms from that psychological and emotional abuse. And for me, as I've said before, it was self harm and an eating disorder, together with drinking maybe a bit too much and generally risky behaviour. And absolutely not intending to trivialise physical abuse by parents at all. I don't mean to do that. But I often wish I'd been smacked as a child. Just anything that could be detected by teachers and other people on the outside. I wish people could have easily seen that something bad was happening to me behind closed doors. But my parents, like most narcs, were too smart to risk leaving bruises or scratches, so those bruises and scratches were all on the inside. And the mental abuse my parents delivered to me led to me silently screaming to the world that I am not okay by hurting myself. Um, and during my teenage years, this was just brushed off as me being the broody, miserable goth kid. Um, so Wales banning smacking, it just shows how clueless authorities are about the insidious nature of narcissistic and scapegoating abuse and psychological abuse in general. And abusive parents are just going to learn to be more covert in their behaviour. As I said, my parents never raised their hands to me, and they didn't have to. They planted the seeds for decades of self destructive behaviour just through their words, through withholding unconditional love and affection, and the chronic "you're not good enough" brainwashing. So banning smacking is much like banning drugs. People are still going to do it, they're just going to be more careful about avoiding detection. So that's just my 2 cents on the matter. I got quite heated when I saw it was being discussed on the breakfast news today. And I just wanted to give my opinion as a survivor of what is essentially, and we've all been through it, is child abuse. What we went through as scapegoats is child abuse. So those are just my thoughts. And with that, any comments that you might have on your thoughts on this would be, I'd be very interested to see what you think. And in the meantime, take care of yourself, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.